Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I want to talk to you about communicating with narcissists. This is a bit of a misnomer, actually, because communicating successfully with pathologically narcissistic people is almost impossible. But still, it might be necessary to deal with them from time to time, so I'm going to talk to you about that on the show today. Trying to communicate with pathologically narcissistic people, especially when they're actively upset, is a nightmare. It's frustrating, it's painful, and more than that, it's usually pointless. Conversation goes in circles and doesn't seem to ever progress or move forward at all. Issues are not resolved, problems are not solved, and things are often made worse, not better. People become trapped in a cycle of defending, explaining, and chasing the narcissist for validation, trying to prove to the narcissistic person that they're mistaken about whatever it is that they believe or that they're saying. This cycle characterizes the relationship with the narcissist. The victim is forever chasing something they will never get, or if they do get it, they will not be allowed to keep it. Just as they feel validated, the rug will be ripped out from under them once again. The key to understanding how to communicate successfully with pathologically narcissistic people is to remember that, frankly, you can't. They're not like other people, and so the tools you would normally use to communicate with non-narcissistic people generally will not work with them. Rationally explaining or talking about your feelings will get you nowhere with a narcissistic person. They don't care. They're not listening. All they can hear or care about are their own feelings. This means that successful communication with pathologically narcissistic people looks different than successful communication with non-narcissistic people. Successful communication with pathologically narcissistic people means not allowing yourself to be triggered or to become upset. If you can get through the conversation without doing that, it's a success. This is what causes the pain, the frustration, and it creates a situation where communication is further complicated because now you're upset and now your point is being lost. Once people realize this and truly understand it, they can adjust their expectations and communication becomes much less frustrating. Desire is the root of suffering. We suffer because we can't have what we want or what we expect or what we feel we deserve. When you realize that you're not going to get what you want from the situation, the suffering is alleviated because the desire has been addressed and the situation has been accepted. Dealing with narcissistic people in general becomes much less painful when you can accept them for what they are and create expectations of the situation and of the person that are realistic. Accepting them for what they are doesn't mean condoning their behavior, so let's be really clear on that. The behavior is not acceptable. Accepting narcissists or anybody for who they are means that you understand the full reality of the situation. It means you stop holding on to the fantasy that things are going to just magically change and this person's suddenly going to understand or care how you feel. The chances of that happening are extremely low. It's generally not even worth entertaining the idea that that might happen. Once you accept the reality of the person you're dealing with and let go of your fantasy of them, the interaction becomes a lot less painful. Their behavior probably won't change, but your susceptibility to it will. They're only able to hurt you because you want and expect them to care. You desire them to care, and you suffer because they don't. Addressing this is the first step toward taking the power over your feelings back to yourself, which is where it belongs. Once you've taken that step and you've truly accepted the situation and the person for what they are, it's a lot easier to stop reacting to the things they're doing and saying. This is the only way to successfully deal with a narcissist. You have to stop reacting. Pushing people's buttons is probably their biggest weapon, and in order to neutralize it, people have to stop getting upset. This can be very difficult, and there's just no other way to say it. It's hard. But nothing worthwhile ever came easily. And this is just another example of that. Acceptance is really the key here. Through acceptance comes freedom. If you can learn to accept the situation and control your reactions, it won't matter what the narcissist says or doesn't say or what they do or don't do. Your peace will not be affected because you will realize that it's their problem, not yours. You cannot control how other people feel, what they say, or what they do. You have absolutely no control over that at all. Sometimes, no matter what you do, people just aren't going to like you. And sometimes, no matter what you do, people aren't going to stop liking you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. This is often the biggest hurdle that people have to get over, but it is so worth it. Being a slave to other people's opinions is no way to live. Now, there are several videos on my channel that can help teach how to stop reacting and take control of your emotions back. Those tools are invaluable if you're forced to deal with a narcissist. However, it isn't just acceptance of the narcissistic person that is necessary. Acceptance of the self is necessary too. Narcissists hurt and control other people by pinpointing the person's weak spots and hammering on them nonstop. People often become triggered by these particular things because it's an area where they already have issues. For example, let's say a person might fly off the handle because the narcissist accuses them of lying. Now, of course, no one likes to be accused of lying, but trying to prove this is not true shouldn't become the obsessive cycle that it often becomes. Now, this might happen because in the person's childhood, they were called a liar constantly and made to feel as if they were unlovable because of that. The person may then become obsessed with trying to prove to the narcissist that they're not a liar. In reality, this has nothing to do with the narcissist any more than the narcissist's behavior has to do with the victim. The person is trying to prove to themselves that they're not unlovable by convincing the narcissist to love them. They've found, or never escaped, the exact situation that created the problem in the first place, and they're trying to fix it, sometimes over and over and over again, and often completely unbeknownst to themselves. But if you're going to move forward, you have to face the past. So it's important to be really, really honest with yourself about what you're trying to accomplish with the choices that you're making. Whatever issues you uncover with your honesty will likely show you what caused your vulnerability to the situation in the first place. And once those issues are addressed, you might find that your vulnerability to the situation and to the narcissist has disappeared. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. People can learn many lessons from their dealings with narcissists, not the least of which is how to stop being an observer and a passenger in their own lives so they can take control. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments now, online and over the phone. If you're interested in scheduling an appointment with me, you can visit littleshaman.org and press the bookings tab to go ahead and do that, or you can follow the link that's in the information section of this video. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.